About 10 minutes after I checked into an Airbnb, the host called me and asked why I was back inside the house. I told her I had never left. She got quiet for a second, then said the front door had already been opened twice that night, using the code she sent me. This happened last fall, when I was driving back from Tennessee by myself. I didn't want to do the whole drive in one shot, so around 10:30 that night, I booked a cheap Airbnb outside Lexington. It was one of those last-minute places you book when you're tired enough that you stop caring what it looks like. The listing said quiet guest house and self-check-in. That was honestly enough for me. The neighborhood looked normal, but it had that dead feeling some places get late at night. No porch lights, no TV glow in the windows, no cars moving, nothing. The Airbnb was a little guest house behind a bigger home. Gravel driveway, short wooden fence, keypad on the front door. I parked, grabbed my overnight bag, punched in the code, and went inside. Right away, a few things felt off, but not in a way that made me panic. More in a way that made me think somebody had done a lazy turnover job. There was a lamp on in the living room. The bathroom fan was running. There was a glass in the sink with water still in it, and the back door was unlocked. I remember just standing there for a second with my bag still on my shoulder, thinking the cleaner probably rushed out and forgot a few things. That was my first thought. Not that somebody was in there, just that somebody had been careless. It was a small place, living room, kitchen, bathroom, one bedroom downstairs, and a narrow staircase up to a loft. At the top of the stairs there was a locked door with a little handwritten tag on the knob that said owner's closet. I noticed it because it wasn't shut all the way. It wasn't open either, just not fully latched. I pushed it lightly with 2 fingers to see if it would catch, and it moved maybe half an inch and stopped, locked. I remember thinking, okay, weird, but fine. I set my bag on the couch, plugged my phone in by the kitchen counter, and went into the bathroom. I was in there maybe a minute. When I came out, my phone was vibrating on the counter. It was the host. I answered because I assumed she forgot to send the Wi-Fi password or something. Instead she goes, "Hey, are you back at the house?" And I said, "What do you mean back?" She said the front door just opened again. I told her I had literally just gotten there and hadn't gone back outside. She got quiet for a second and then said, "That doesn't make sense. The lock log shows your code was used earlier tonight too." At first I kind of laughed because I thought she had to be mixing me up with another guest, but she kept talking, and I could hear her realizing, while she was saying it, that something was wrong. She told me the code I used had unlocked the door once around 8:40, and again a little after 9. I didn't even book the place until after 10. At 8:40, I was still on the highway. I told her that, and after that neither of us said anything for a second. That was the moment the whole place changed for me. It stopped feeling messy. It started feeling used. I looked around the kitchen again while she was still on the phone. The glass in the sink had ice in it. Not a lot, because it had mostly melted, but enough that I could tell it hadn't been sitting there all day. There was also a paper grocery receipt half hanging out of the trash. I pulled it up and looked at it. 2 bottled waters, crackers, deli meat, batteries, timestamp from that same evening. I don't know why that receipt bothered me so much, but it did. More than the lock thing, honestly. It made it feel current, like somebody hadn't just been there earlier, like somebody had been there recently. Then I noticed there was already a phone charger plugged into the wall beside the couch. Not mine, just sitting there like it belonged in the room. The host asked me to check if anything looked missing or damaged, like she was still trying to make it fit some normal explanation. I told her I had no idea what was supposed to be there in the first place. Then she told me to just go outside and wait in my car while she called the property manager. I said okay, but I didn't move right away. I was just standing there looking at the stairs, because once she said somebody else had used that code, I couldn't stop thinking about that half-shut locked door upstairs. Then I heard something. Not a bang, not full-on footsteps, just a soft shift from up there, like weight moving on wood and then stopping. I looked up. The host heard me stop talking and kept saying, "Hello? Hello?" And I said really quietly, "There's somebody up there." I said it quiet on purpose, like if I said it too loud it would make it real. I grabbed my keys off the kitchen counter and headed for the front door, or at least I thought I did. My keys weren't there. I had this stupid few seconds where I checked the same spot over and over, like they were going to appear if I looked hard enough. Then I remembered I'd set them near the sink when I picked up the glass. They weren't there either. The host was still talking in my ear, asking what was happening, but by then I was breathing too hard to answer. Then I heard the sound again. This time, it wasn't above me. It was closer, a small sound from behind that locked door upstairs. Like something brushing against the wood from the inside. I backed toward the front door without taking my eyes off the stairs, and while I was doing that, the owner's closet door moved. Not all the way, not even much, just enough for that dark line in the frame to get a little wider. That was it for me. I got the front door open and went straight outside barefoot, because apparently at some point I had kicked my shoes off by the couch. I don't even remember doing that. I just remember how cold the gravel felt, and the fact that I still didn't have my keys. I got into my car, locked the doors, and told the host to call 911 because I was not going back in there. Then from the driveway, I saw the loft get brighter. The upstairs light had come on. I should have stayed in the car and left it at that. But my wallet was still inside. My work laptop was in my overnight bag too, and I know that sounds stupid now. But in the moment I kept thinking maybe I was about to leave all my stuff in there over some misunderstanding. The host kept telling me not to go back in. I told her I wasn't going to. Then I got out of the car and walked up to the side window anyway. The curtains in the living room were thin enough that if the light hit right, you could still see shapes moving inside. My bag was still on the couch where I left it. The loft light was still on. I was standing there trying to decide if I was seriously about to break a window for my own stuff when someone crossed the top of the stairs. Just for a second, not fast, not crouching, not even really sneaking, almost casual. I didn't see a face, just the shape of a person moving where there absolutely should not have been one. That's when I backed off for good. The police got there maybe 6 or 7 minutes later. It felt longer. 2 officers went in through the front, and another went around the back. I stayed by my car with the host still on speaker. She kept apologizing over and over, which by that point was doing absolutely nothing for me. They cleared the guest house and the yard. Nobody. But they did find signs that somebody had been staying inside that locked room upstairs. It turned out it wasn't really a closet. It opened into a narrow storage space behind the wall. Not big, but big enough for somebody to sit or lie down if they wanted to stay hidden. They found bottled waters, food wrappers, a flashlight, and a thin blanket stuffed behind a few boxes. One of the officers came back out carrying my keys. He asked if I had left them upstairs. I told him no. I obviously got refunded. I went to a motel off the interstate and barely slept. The host texted me the next morning apologizing again and said she'd disabled the keypad and filed a report. But the part that still sticks with me is something one of the officers said before I left. He said whoever had been in there probably wasn't trying to break in while I was staying there. He thought it was more likely they were already using the place and didn't expect anybody to show up that late. So when I punched in that code and walked inside with my bag, There's a good chance somebody was already in that house listening to me move around downstairs. And the last part that still bothers me is this. I asked the host later why the loft light came on after I ran outside. She told me that light didn't work. She said guests had been complaining about it for weeks. I still don't know if she was confused, lying, or just trying to make sense of it after the fact. I just know I saw that upstairs area get brighter while I was sitting in my car looking at the house.